Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast. Happy Monday. It is absolutely gorgeous out. Take us outside. Watch us outside.
Fake
Go out
spring.
on the porch. And where is... He's not out there yet. Shirtless dart guy has not arrived. It's like Groundhog Day when he comes out. He came out a couple weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago when it was like the first nice day of fall
You
spring.
might not have been here.
I was. And then it
okay.
snowed Friday.
Yeah.
Right.
So, dart guy, you got to come back out, try it again, and hope this sticks around because this is absolutely gorgeous.
Die hard dart guy.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of that, guess what? The CHGO locker is on sale right now.
Yes.
30% off mostly everything in the store. That sale is now through Wednesday. Diehards, of course, you save additionally.
Everything except the new Raised in Chicago shirt that we launched yesterday. Everything but that shirt is on discount.
If it wasn't released in the last week, it's on sale.
Yes, absolutely. So I got my Belly Bomb shirt on here to celebrate the re-signing of Cody Bellinger.
I bought one of those. I was going to buy it when it came out last year because I love that shirt, but I was like, I'm going to wait till there's an extension, so I got one today with the sale.
There you go. So jump on CHGOlocker.com. Diehards, you will save additionally. So if you want to become a diehard, good time to do that because guess what? We've got a major salute announcement coming up at the end of the show, especially for our diehards. So you're going to want to hear this. It's a big one.
Don't miss it.
So diehards or a potential diehards, you're going to want to catch this announcement at the end of the show.
This announcement is en fuego, as you could say.
Yes.
Sure.
Steaming hot.
Yes. Yo soy fiesta. All right, we got a mailbag show today. Before we get to all your great questions, and God, you guys sent a ton. And we thank you for that.
I love Mailbag Monday because we can send out a tweet asking for questions at like 9 a.m. and have 3 shows worth by the time we get on the air.
We might have to carry it into Mailbag Tuesday.
Yeah, you guys definitely have more than one day's worth.
Well, before we get to it,
shucks.
let's make sure everyone smashes that like button for us. Make sure everyone subscribe to the YouTube. Same deal on the podcast apps. Make sure you're following and subscribed. And a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify will be greatly appreciated. And also, Thursday, post-game, the plan is for Nick Foligno to join us. So be ready for that as well. All right.
Yes. Hopefully
Law.
we're talking to him after a win. That'd be
Let's
nice.
get right to it.
Pace.
Discord first because our diehards take priority. Again, another reason to become a diehard is you get early access on the mailbag shows.
Questions hit first.
Yes, the Discord questions will come first today, and let's open the mailbag with...
Tear open the sack.
Let's go with this one. Let's go with... this is from RJK. With Reichel struggling, does that have any effect on who the Hawks select if they don't get 10A pick?
I think it's 1 OA.
Number
one
overall.
overall. One overall.
It does look like a 10, though.
Oh, that's
Best
an
player
O.
available is generally used, but would the Hawks err towards a forward? Well, here's the good thing. If they don't get first overall, then they have over 300 players to choose from at second overall or 299 to choose from at third overall.
Yeah.
And where they're positioned right now in the standings, they would draft no lower than third. And there's plenty of forwards and defensemen that you could take besides Macklin Celebrini and be thoroughly excited about them.
Yes. I think this is probably a seed we're going to have to start planting because we're seeing it in the chats every now and again already where people are like, it's Celebrini or bust. Like, it's not the same
Not even
as
close.
the Bedard. It's not. Like, Celebrini is a great prospect, don't get me wrong, but he's not a Bedard-level prospect.
Mm-hmm. He is the consensus number one prospect right now in this draft class, but the gap between him and the field is nowhere near what it was Bedard last year.
This is closer to like, for all those years we had, it was Shane Wright, and then he dropped the 4 We all know what happened there. I don't think it's
Yeah.
quite like that, but
No, I don't.
But it's not Austin Matthews. It's not Connor McDavid. It's not Celebrini or bust. You're going to get a really good prospect wherever they pick with their own pick. I don't think Lucas Reichel's season has any effect on what they pick. They're going to pick the player that they have identified best fits what they're trying to do at that pick.
Yep.
Whether it's a forward, defenseman, goalie, they are taking the best. I mean, we saw it last year with the Guyan pick in the second round.
Yeah.
You have Drew Comezzo is your guy, your top goalie prospect. We're going to take another second-round pick for a goalie because he's the best guy on our board.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's how you should do it.
yeah, don't let your current team really dictate what you're building.
It's also important to say, too, like, we like a lot of the Hawks' defensive prospects, and Allen and Del Mastro and Phillips and on and on and on we go.
Yeah.
Renzel, but you can never have too many of them. And chances are maybe Allen doesn't pan out as an NHL defenseman. Maybe Del Mastro, like, nothing is guaranteed.
Right.
Right? There's very few guarantees on this roster. I think Connor Bedard is one. But the rest, even though they're highly touted prospects, they're not all going to hit. So the best player available thing is a good thing. And if it's just so happens that all of a sudden you've got 7 great defensemen,
It's not a bad
you
problem.
can get a lot for a defenseman.
Yeah.
It's not a bad problem.
No.
You can use one of those guys. Of all these defensive you take another defenseman with one of your 2 first-round picks this year and again next year, and all those guys become really good or at least replacement level NHL defensemen. It's not a bad problem to have because then you could trade a couple of those guys to get things you don't have.
Yep.
Exactly.
Definitely.
All right. Let's move on to the next one.
All right. Next up from Brad Beatty. Why does a segment of the fan base not understand a rebuild, think the Hawks would have Bedard if they had Cat and Kane, and hate Kyle Davidson?
I think there's a lot of
I don't want to use bad words.
there's a ton of nostalgia rooted in the Blackhawks fan base, and I get it. Like last night was a testament to that with Patrick Kane being back, and he scores the overtime winner to beat the Blackhawks as a member of the Red Wings, and I'd say 80% of a sold-out United Center was cheering that overtime goal between Red Wings fans and Blackhawks fans. Like there is a lot of love for those guys, and so with that being the case, when good things come to an end, there's always there's always some resistance to that. And Jonathan Taze's time in Chicago, I think his time in the NHL might be done, but definitely his time in Chicago seems to be done. Patrick Kane's time in Chicago, I believe, has been done. And it is an opportunity, especially landing Connor Bedard, which was part of the process of the rebuild. It makes it easier to be able to turn the page to a new chapter, and you still remember all of the amazing things that guys like Taze and Kane and Keith and Seabrook and Hossa and Sharp down the line they go, brought to this organization, brought to this fan base, and you can love all of that without saying that you have to hang on to it for dear life while there's no more juice to squeeze from it,
Right.
And I think if they had stayed the course with DeBrincat and Kane, and some other guys that you hold on to, Dylan Strome, you're holding on to these things to be a middling team.
You're the Detroit
and you
Red Wings.
don't have Connor Bedard.
Right.
So your future is now Alex DeBrincat, Patrick Kane, Dylan Strome, let's say,
and look, like-
and your prospect pool is not what it is.
And
So your future's over in like 3 seasons.
Everybody loves Alex DeBrincat. Like, don't get us wrong. And in a perfect world, would we rather him be here than not? If all things are equal, of course. But I think Kyle Davidson wisely identified he is not a franchise move. He is a complementary piece, and that's not a knock, right? If Patrick Sharp was the best Blackhawk in the dynasty, they would not have won 3 cups.
No, he is a Patrick Sharp to a great team.
Yes.
A sniper.
It-
He's not a guy that carries you to the next level.
Exactly. And you need to get that level of player. You've got one in Bedard. You hope whoever you draft this year is one. You hope that maybe a Nazar or Korchinski or Alex Vlasic turn into something of that stature. But DeBrincat wasn't that guy. And for him to stay here, you're talking about $9.5 million tied up for Alex DeBrincat probably if it was going to just stay in Chicago. That's what it would have cost. And it's just not – he's not that kind of player. And look, I know people are shouting at the podcast right now. Seth Jones makes $9.5. He does. And it's too much. And the guy who signed that deal is no longer here. So I know we're going to get to Seth Jones a little bit later in the show, but like two wrongs don't make a right.
Right.
Here's why, just to wrap this up with Brad's question here, and thanks for the question, Brad. I get why people want to keep it together. We saw it yesterday with the nostalgia. You want to remember the good times, but everything comes to an end. So here's why Patrick Kane was traded last year and not brought back this year. You need to make this Connor Bedard's team. If Patrick Kane is still in that locker room, it's Patrick Kane's team. Look at the attention he got yesterday.
Yep.
The majority of the Chicago media was in the Detroit locker room after the game. Like it would still be Patrick Kane's team featuring Connor Bedard. You need to make this Connor Bedard's team as quickly as possible. And, you know, do you want to be the Minnesota Wild? Do you want to be the Nashville Predators? Do you want to be what the Detroit Red Wings are shaping up to be? Let's get that wild card spot, get knocked out in 6 games, and do this over and over and over and over again? Or do you want what we once had?
Guys, the answer plays in the same building as the Hawks. The Chicago Bulls are what you get when you have it.
Competitive.
What if you just want to be competitive forever and get that playoff gate and do the Bill Wirtz, Jerry Reinsdorf thing? Cool.
The goal should be, when you have a professional team, regardless of the sport, is to win the championship every year. And this route gets you closer to that.
Yes.
Keeping Patrick Kane to have his 25 goals and 60 points doesn't get you that. It gets you maybe 2 home playoff games if everything goes right. And I don't care about that. I want to win championships.
And the Panthers last year and the Kings in 2012, like those are anomalies to see a team that was, for lack of a better term, 7th or 8th seed go to the Cup final. So to say, oh, well, anything can happen in the playoffs, if you're one of those wild card teams, you're there for a reason. You know, there are better teams that you are going to face, and to roll the dice and say, well, we can just get into the wild card and anything can happen in a 7-game series.
And then you're drafting...
Your odds of that happening are low.
And then you're drafting 16th, 17th, 18th every year, where you might get nice players, but you don't get those players that... You don't get the Connor Bedards.
Yeah.
You don't.
Then your future is hinging on, let's say, Lucas Reichel. You know, if Lucas Reichel was here and there was no Connor Bedard, we'd be going, uh-oh.
Right.
Yeah. A proper rebuild is difficult to endure. And look no further than the Colorado Avalanche, who a handful of years ago were historically terrible. And then they get Cale Makar and Bowen Byram and Nathan McKinnon and on and on and on. And all of a sudden, look, they're this Stanley Cup winning, really, really strong team.
Yeah.
And the teams you referenced, LA and who was the other one?
Florida.
Florida. Florida was a huge disappointment for most of last year.
They won the President's Trophy the year before.
Yeah, so that was a team with a pedigree to be a Cup champion.
They won the President's Trophy and fired their coach because they got bounced in the first round.
And the same thing with LA. That was a Stanley Cup pedigree team that had a bad start to that year and then eventually got better. So, you know, it's not like the current Wild winning the Cup or the current and it's not bag on the Red Wings here, but that is not a Cup winning roster.
It's not.
It's just not. It's not.
Maybe they upset
maybe
the first round, but they're not winning 3 rounds to get out of the Eastern Conference. Not with the goaltending and defense they have.
Josh says, I think the hit on Kane last night from Bedsy was him saying, thanks for the torch. It's mine it's my team now.
That was an amazing, like, under the radar moment of all the amazing moments last night.
I didn't even see it live.
Oh, I saw it live from the 8th row, thanks to Carm.
I saw the aftermath on social media. I must have been looking down when it happened. There's just so much going on that yesterday. But yeah, that was a fun, because those two were not on the ice against each other. That was maybe 2-3 shifts all night long. So he made sure, he was like, oh, there he is. I'm going to make sure I get this shot. I'm going to send a message.
He followed through on that one.
It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. I loved it.
All right, let's keep it moving. We got a lot.
All right, we do have a lot, and this one actually is also from Brad Beatty.
He's doubling up.
Yeah, he says, don't know if it's too late for this. He sent this at 12:49. No, Brad, you're a diehard. This is not too late. He said, but after I saw the stupidity Mario was dealing with on Twitter today, here's a question. Why does the Hawks fan base hate Seth Jones so much? As you guys have discussed a few times, he is overpaid by $1 million a year, but not sure why everyone hates the player. And you did just reference that.
Let me.
It's not the whole fan base.
Well, this goes back to the rebuild thing too, and this is something that I have to remind myself. We were talking to Ty before the game yesterday. One of our diehards who's at the, and we were talking to him about this. Like, I think sometimes we are so close to it, and I know a lot of the people that are with us every day follow the team religiously, and they get like the depth of what's happening. They understand the process. They hear every word Kyle Davidson says and Luke Richardson says. The vast majority of Hawks observers are way more casual than that, where they see they lost again. Oh, Seth Jones only has 1 goal, and there's no context to what they're seeing. Whereas we're watching every game, taking notes, watching, reading the analytics, looking at the deeper numbers of everything, and seeing that Seth Jones is playing half the game. And he's generating more scoring chances than anyone on the team. That's the stuff that doesn't really show up just from a casual guy, sitting in his garage drinking some beers, yelling at his TV. And that's fine.
Delicious Coors Light.
That's most sports fans, right?
Yes.
I get that. But I'm just saying, we're so close to it. I think the Seth Jones stuff infuriates me. Because if you just watch an effing game,
I stepped in it today.
You see an imperfect player doing the best he can. And look, if Joe Schmo, the head of the plumbers union, came to you and said, hey, do you want to be made a really highly paid plumber? You might say, I don't think I'm worth it, but yes. Of course you're going to take the money.
Right.
Yeah. People hate the contract. People hate the guy that signed him to the contract.
Yes.
None of that is Seth Jones' fault. And the dude plays his ass off every single game. Is he perfect? No. Does he make mistakes? Yes. Name me one NHL defenseman who doesn't make at least one mistake a game. I'm waiting. There isn't one.
No.
And people want to say, oh, he had Bedsy wide open in overtime. He wasn't exactly wide open. There was a defender right in front of him waiting for the pass.
He wasn't wide
if he makes that pass and it gets knocked away, it still goes to cherry picking Patrick Kane, and then you're going to yell at him for not shooting.
Yeah, he had two wide open shots right there.
He can't do it.
Yeah, he can't win.
He can't win. No matter what he does, people are going to hate on him. So it is what it is.
He immediately became a lightning rod as soon as he got here.
There's people that just need to be negative 24 hours a day because it makes them feel better about themselves or whatever it is. It is. And it's also because then if something doesn't work, because a lot of times in sports, plans don't work. They fail a lot more than they succeed.
Yeah.
So it's so much easier to be like, this isn't going to work. And so when odds are it doesn't, you can be right.
Yeah.
So the 19 followers you have on social media can be like, well, that guy was right.
Right.
He must know what he's talking about.
Seth Jones could score the Stanley Cup Game 7 overtime winner, and people would still complain that he makes too much money. Like he will not win over this fan base.
That's the part I don't get.
Unless this team wins multiple Stanley Cups with him on the roster, he will not win over this fan base because he represents basically the turning point of this team going from, oh, maybe we can be cup contenders to everything has fallen apart and we need to restart. He's kind
of the marker of that.
The marker of that is Seth Jones coming to this team. And look, I feel like sometimes we get flack for like, oh, you're just defending him for no no, we defend him for the reasons that we feel like he should be defended.
And when he plays poorly, we say so.
Yeah, and when he plays bad, we are not just carrying Seth Jones' jock. He has people to do that for him. And we criticize him
because he makes so much money.
Right, yeah. We criticize him when is necessary, and we praise him, quote unquote, more of defend him when it is logical to defend him. And I just feel like there's just a section of the fan base that you're just not gonna change their mind. And as much as we can say, he plays almost half of every game on a really bad team, so that's why his numbers don't look great. If you have anyone of less skill on this team in that position, things are 10 times worse.
Yeah.
And when he was out of the lineup,
it was horrible.
It was so noticeable. So you can't sit there and say that he has no positive impact on this team, because if you take him out and put a replacement level player in there for him, things are worse.
By the way, and the fact that he's $1 million or $2 million overpaid right now means nothing.
Doesn't mean anything.
They've got
Right,
infinite cap space.
It means one
the-
less shitty player they have to sign for $2 million.
Right.
The Blackhawks have the lowest payroll right now in the NHL.
And by the time it matters,
It's not going to cost them anything. It's not going to affect. It's not. They're not going to have to like not re-sign Kevin Korchinski because they have to pay Seth Jones' contract.
Yeah.
It's not going to be. It's never going to be an albatross like say the Brent Seabrook contract was the last couple of years when you were right at it. It's not anything to worry about at this point. And one other thing about yesterday, everybody talking about like, oh, Seth Jones blew it in overtime. Hey, where's the outrage of Connor Bedard not scoring on a breakaway on James effing Reimer?
sure.
He does that in the third period. That game's never in overtime.
Or someone recognizing, like, oh, look, Seth Jones is walking in here.
Yeah, well, there's
I better get back.
There's Patrick
It
Kane
should
just
circle back,
lollygagging
yeah.
at center ice. Maybe Philip Kurashev needs to realize that and start skating back. Or
Whatever
Connor
it is, it's Seth Jones' fault. So.
It's never going to change. It is what it is. And,
He didn't make the contested pass, and he took the open lane to the net, so he should be punished
and
for
if he
it.
scores there, none of that ever
it's-
happens. So
it's-
it is what it is.
for-
Their goalie made the save. Ours didn't.
For a
Well,
team that we have shouted from the mountaintops, shoot the puck, when you have a open lane 10 feet from you to the crease with no one in front of you, you and the goalie, and arguably one of the three best players on this team has the game on their stick in overtime, I am totally fine taking that shot.
his one goal this year came in overtime.
That's
right, yeah.
And as Frank points out in the chat, hey, anybody seen Adam Boquist? Imagine what this team would look like with Adam Boquist
yeah.
back there instead of Seth Jones.
Right.
Not great.
And I'd like to see the Venn diagram, by the way, of people who say that they should have brought back Kaner, and the people that hate Seth Jones. It's probably a complete circle.
It's pretty close.
Seth Jones is a pretty good guy, considering his trajectory in the NHL came right into the league out of the draft, was super high expectations, a ton of hype. That's the kind of guy you want in your locker room for young players and young defensemen. He's been through it.
Yeah.
He's been Kevin Korchinski. He's been the defensive version of Connor Bedard, right? Like, he knows what comes with it. So, shut up. Okay, let's get to a super chat before we get to a break. This one's from Thomas. He says, hey, all, what are your thoughts on the Jets relocation rumors?
I've been seeing this a little bit. I haven't looked into it too much, but the Jets are having a pretty good season. But from my understanding, it's like their season ticket holder renewal is like not going well,
Right.
And they're not really like filling the building all that much. Which any Canadian market is a hockey hungry market. You'd imagine in Winnipeg, when there's really not much to do but go to hockey games, you'd be selling out the building with a
not a
Jets
big
team
building
that
either.
is competitive. Yeah, it's
If it
like
wasn't
what,
for the
16,000, something
Less
like
than
that.
that. It's like 13,000.
Yeah,
If
so
it wasn't
it's-
for the original Winnipeg Jets in their college arena, they'd have the smallest arena in the league.
Yeah.
So it's
The original Winnipeg
It's maybe that market just isn't sustainable for an NHL franchise.
I'm looking at
Maybe they can move to Atlanta so that can fail for the third
They
time.
can go back to Atlanta.
Right. That would be great. Instead of
Send them
they can go
back to
right back
Atlanta.
where they came from.
Oh my gosh.
It's just weird how like there's already rumblings that the league is upset about it. Like you're gonna get on Winnipeg, who you chased that team out of there in the first place. Then you had to have them back, and now you're worried about them. And yet, there are your precious little Coyotes bragging about $1 million gate because they actually sold out a freaking college arena.
they
You're
up
gonna
to-
die on that hill.
Are they up to 12 straight losses? 13?
They're not good. They're not good. Thankfully, there's not a lot of people paying to see them lose.
Well, the Coyotes are 100% capacity every game, 4,600 people.
That's good.
But I'm looking here at the league. So the league leader in capacity percentage is the Minnesota Wild, 103.7%.
How's that possible?
They have a standing room, I think.
The fire marshal should be
18,619.
should be talking.
They
about
must
that
be
one.
adding They must be adding Brock Faber's minutes to the attendance.
His plus minus. For the record, the Hawks are like kind of a little bit lower of the pack, 95.4% in terms of capacity percentage.
I mean,
The
that's
Jets,
more than last year, though. So.
Yes. The Jets are third last at 87.6% capacity, ahead of Buffalo and San Jose.
Wow. Going to move the Sabres because they're not selling tickets?
I don't know.
I mean, we got to see them on.
Can they move the Jets to Arizona again?
To put two teams in Arizona.
Yeah, 2 teams.
Certainly 2 teams in Arizona
they'll
can't
split
fail.
the Mullet Arena.
Yeah.
What, the Scottsdale versus Phoenix huge rivalry.
Oh, man.
That'll get it going.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
I don't think the NHL is going to worry all that much, or they shouldn't right now, about having to worry about the Jets. Like,
No.
I think they'll be fine.
if the Jets get to the playoffs and they're only selling 85% of their arena for the playoff
Then
games,
you
might
then
be
you
a
got
problem.
problems. Yeah.
But I don't know. It's
Is it just like super expensive tickets?
I
You know,
honestly
can't imagine
honestly
that in
don't
Winnipeg it would
know.
be.
But it sucks.
Yeah.
But if they lose the Jets a second time, I don't want to hear anybody crying. Like, you had them twice and you couldn't keep them.
I mean, where do you even go? Hamilton?
Go Salt Lake City. Go to
They're
whatever.
chomping at the bit. That seems like a done deal. It's not, they're going to get a team.
Some-
somewhere.
some-
Go back to
some
Atlanta. That
team
would be
is-
great.
some
Go
team
go
is
back
going
be
to
the
Salt Lake,
Thrashers
for
again.
sure. Yeah.
Like it. I don't know. Maybe just let teams figure it out.
Right.
It's Canada. How do you not get like? They'll figure it out.
Just put another team in Toronto.
Sure. Maybe that one.
They talked about Hamilton.
Maybe that one can win a cup.
Yeah.
That'd be so
Maybe.
great if the Jets moved to Toronto, and then they win the cup in their first year. I would love that. That would be an amazing story.
It'd be fantastic.
All right, Mario.
Yes.
Anything coming up in the future? Sunday.
Oh, no, you weren't there for that conversation.
No.
Oh, yeah, we were.
Friday, Saturday,
It's
and Sunday.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Sunday.
The most unexpected, unscripted, and unforgettable motorsports experience for families and fans in the world today returns to Chicagoland for an adrenaline-charged weekend at the All-State Arena. From March 1st to the 3rd, this weekend, world's best drivers show off crazy skills and all-out racing in fierce head-to-head battles for the event championship. Engineered to perfection, the 12,000-pound Monster Jam trucks push all the limits in freestyle, skills, donuts, and racing competitions.
Now you have my attention.
The Arena Series West champion will receive a highly coveted automatic bid to the prestigious Monster Jam World Finals to compete for the title of World Champion. See world-class athletes in action performing the craziest stunts in motorsports. Experience big-time family fun at Monster Jam. Unexpected, unscripted, unforgettable. This is Monster Jam. See it live at the All-State Arena March 1st through the 3rd this weekend. Link for tickets in the description.
Nice.
What happened?
Charlie
blackout.
Bacon guy says, "Holy Christ, Mario! Please don't do bacon like that."
I blacked out. What happened?
My goodness.
Break
That
it.
was awesome.
Good job.
That's how you're supposed to do Monster Jam,
Yeah,
right?
You have
I'm ready.
to. You are obligated.
I'm
to do
buying
it that
tickets
way.
as soon as this show's over. I want to go see Gravedigger.
I just bought tickets.
Yeah, that was
amazing.
Gravedigger,
awesome.
Bigfoot, and the rest.
Do you guys want to do some Monster Jam trivia while we're at it? Because there's Monster Jam trivia.
Bigfoot. Gravedigger. That's
All right,
all I got.
We'll do one.
12,000 pounds.
How tall is a Monster Jam truck?
12 feet.
Someone read the read.
I didn't read the read.
12 feet. That is
right?
correct. Yeah.
Nice.
Monster Jam trucks stand approximately 12 feet tall.
Sweet.
All right.
Look at me.
There
knowing
you go.
Stuff.
How the F am I supposed to follow that up?
Just real low energy.
All right. Well, that is not going
Bring
to
it
be a
down
problem.
notch.
So if you're out there watching those monster trucks and that gets you like pumped up, I want to get a truck of my own or just some sort of muscle
Monster Jam
car.
truck.
Then you need to come and visit our buddies at Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in
Ram.
Fox Lake because they're celebrating the President's Day sales all month long. And you know what that means? You'll
What does
be
it
able to
mean?
shop presidential savings on their wide selection of inventory for a limited time. Get 20% off MSRP. Sorry, on all remaining. See, it's contagious. On all remaining 2023 Jeep Gladiator models. Is there a Gladiator monster truck? There better be.
There better be.
Yeah. They're number one for new vehicle quality amongst mid-sized trucks, says J.D. Power. That guy's smart.
JD Power.
J.D.
he's
Power.
dead,
That's
but yeah, he
well,
was smart.
his company's smart.
All right.
And that's not all. It's shop their last call on select Dodge Challenger and Charger models Dodge is the most powerful muscle car brand, so you don't have to miss out on their last call with over 20 Dodge muscle cars to choose from. At Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, thank you. You'll always be able to shop one of Chicagoland's largest inventories and drive home with more money in your pocket than you'd expect thanks to Ray's Price Promise. Don't miss out. Shop great deals all month long and save because Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep and
Ram
makes buying a new vehicle more affordable than ever. But that's not all. Just for listening, you can get a free oil change when you mention CHGO at the service center or mention CHGO when you book online at RayCDJR/service. But you have to schedule before February 29th. That's like 3 days away.
It's coming up.
So you better do it quickly. So if you're in the market for a new vehicle, then you have to check out the team at Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. Because they're the only team we recommend. Visit them today on Route 12 in Fox Lake or raycdjr.com. Serving the community since 1963.
Nice.
All right, let's get to some more Sax-O mail.
Okay, we're back into the diehard Discord messages. Let's go with the aforementioned Charlie the Bacon Guy.
Hey.
Is it time for the Hawks to start a Ring of Honor?
Yeah,
It's-
2 years.
Yeah, it's pretty much, yes. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
eventually.
I would
in some way, shape, or form.
Right. A Hall of Fame or something like that will probably come with the 100th anniversary season, which is 2026.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my gosh.
And we talked last night about it. Ring of Honor, jersey retirement, all those guys. That would be kind of in that mix. So there's plenty of options.
Lots of names.
The Ring of Honor will be full pretty quickly.
Just when you think of guys, you're like, should they retire his number? And you go, those guys.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping for a Blackhawks Hall of Fame.
That'd be cool.
be great.
Maybe at the expanded Fifth Third Arena, you put in a little Hall
Yeah.
of Fame there,
Like
or
a physical place to go.
right? Or
Yeah.
maybe you figure out some way at the United Center. You have the atriums. You're not going to take away that space, but maybe you remove a couple of, maybe you remove a couple restaurants and you put in a Hall of Fame or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd like a physical place where I could go.
You don't want to
see
get rid of
stuff.
revenue.
Well, didn't you charge them to go in the Hall of Fame?
No, you got to make the Hall of Fame free and open to the public.
Well, you add them a couple bucks to the ticket.
It's an
No one's gonna notice.
educational thing.
But I want an actual physical Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I agree.
Like
That'd be fun.
an actual place you can go. You can see,
Yeah.
old jerseys, old memorabilia, all that stuff. You could,
Knock out a
have-
couple men's rooms and
inter-
make it a Hall of Fame.
Yeah, sure.
That's not revenue. No one's paying to use
That's
those.
true. Oh man, I loved on Roller Coaster Tycoon back in the day. I don't know if you guys played that, but you could charge people to use the bathroom.
That's smart.
Hilarious. I loved it.
It's good business.
They're not. It's literally a captive audience.
Quarter per flush.
Oh man,
Didn't Disney do that for a while? Pay toilets.
I have no. Can you
There are-
fast
There are
pass the
cities that do
bathrooms?
that.
That'd be great
weird.
if you could do that.
Like
It's a good way to make sure people just go wherever they want.
swipe your card to get access to the stall.
I worked in a now defunct grocery chain back in the day, and we did not have a public washroom. It was nothing. It was called the Egg
Dominic's.
Store.
Okay.
And we had no public bathroom, so the seniors, who didn't really have the option to hold it, would take the produce bags and fill them up, and then just tie them off and just leave them places for us
Oh
to find.
God,
Amazing.
was it like we don't have a bathroom, or is it like our
Is it-
bathroom is for people who?
It's for employees only because it was like up 30 stairs
Oh wow,
to get to it.
that is
So
not a
we were
good
left
idea.
we were left some surprises.
Wow.
It's either a really big dog or an old lady.
Hey, at least I used the bags. Anyway,
That's true.
All right, let's move on. Windy City
taking a weird
Hockey threw us this one. Why would the Blackhawks troll the fans with the Chelios merch making the retirement patch black jersey themed and sell replica black jerseys, but not bring back the black jersey back for the game?
Man,
It's
it would've-
called
would've been
making
so
you
fitting.
want it even more.
Yeah,
it's
it would've-
called marketing.
It would have been so good if they had surprised and like came out in warm-ups in the black jersey or something, or even if they all were wearing like the black Chelios one.
Yeah. Yeah,
why
that would have
weren't
been
they?
cool.
it's also look,
But
it's not
also-
it's not that simple.
Right. Exactly.
There's an agreement with Adidas. I'm sure players can only wear Adidas jerseys on the ice. There's probably all these policies.
Yeah.
Adidas would have to create the black jersey. Look, I think they did a good job of letting Chelios jerseys be available. Mitchell and Ness jerseys were in pretty much everywhere you went if you wanted the black jersey. Connor Bedard walked in one.
Yeah.
I think they did
Brent
what they
Seabrook wore one,
could.
was
Brent Seabrook wore one. They did the best they could with what they're allowed to do.
Right. Yeah. And Adidas is they're clearing their warehouses. They're not making anything.
They're not making anything new.
So
Yeah. Don't worry. The black jerseys will make a return at some point in the near future.
maybe in 2 years.
Yes.
Hi, Barbara. Yes, we're live. Barbara's
Hi,
checking
Barb.
Hi, Barb.
Wrong show, but thank you
No,
for
we
being
appreciate
here.
you being here.
Yes.
Throw it on a super
Exactly
chat.
the right
right?
show. Yeah, it's
Yes.
a great show, Barbara.
We
You gotta learn
don't
about the
have
Hawks.
access to the beer bat.
Cody's in Arizona.
Yes.
Indeed, he is.
It's big of him.
Big weekend for him. All right, let's go back to the Discord. Rooney, 45 games in and a face-off percentage hovering around 40, 39.4 to be exact. What are your thoughts about Bedard as a center long term?
I have thoughts that Connor Bedard will do everything he can to be good at faceoffs.
Yeah, I'm not concerned.
I think he'll be okay.
I'm not concerned. Connor Bedard will work all summer to be a better face-off person. Like his work ethic, his desire to be the best at everything. I have zero concerns about his face-off. I know they're going to get better. I'm not even worried about it. Like the thought of moving him to wing has not even crossed my mind at this point.
No, and if we get to that point, then just move him to wing.
Because
It's fine.
Yeah, but you have
He'll
to
be
remember you're having a teenage rookie taking face-offs against the best centers in the league. You know, your Sidney Crosby's, your Nathan McKinnon's, all these guys.
Yeah.
He's going out against number one centers or the best defensive centers in the game who know how to win face-offs. So he was not going to come into this year and be a 50% guy. 40% is too low, but again, not concerned.
Give it time. If we're like you said, if we're 2 years into this and he's still a 40% guy, you know, like Kirby Doc was, then it's just like, all right, maybe move to wing because this is a player that even if he is a 40% guy down the middle, he's still going to put up.
Yeah, it's
monster
also
numbers.
the difference between one faceoff per 10.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
not, like it's, you know what I mean?
Sure,
Like,
but you'd want the guy who is taking the most faceoffs to win at least half of them.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'd give him. Yeah, him and Yannick Perreault are going to spend a lot of time together this summer.
Yeah, they'll figure it out.
And Lucy says Taves should come back and work with the Hawks coaching staff. They've got the greatest face-off man of all time on their staff, Yannick Perreault.
Right.
So
The guy who taught Jonathan Taves how to be good at
really.
face-offs
Taves
is
struggled
still
with that
there.
too.
He'll be all right.
And by the way, for the record, the best face-off team in hockey last year landed the number 1 overall pick.
Yes,
because
the
they were so
Blackhawks
bad.
were really good. They had Max Domi, who was out of his mind, and Jonathan Taves last year. A lot of good it did him.
Number 1 center, Max Domi.
Yeah, take that. All right, so you hated that Bedard question. Here's another one from
Didn't hate
Alan
it.
K.
I hate it. It's just,
I know.
you we have an answer.
Okay, Alan K has 2 mailbag questions.
Oh, double dip.
If Connor Bedard was a dog breed, which one would he be? Sorry,
that's a
cat
good
people.
one.
Also, best coffee in Chicagoland.
Oh.
Ooh, okay.
Interesting questions.
If Connor was a dog breed,
Dog breed. Well, he'd be like a very athletic dog.
Short and stocky, strong. He's kind of
Doberman Pinscher.
like a
pit bull, a
like
little
a
bit misunderstood.
Staffordshire. How about an
I
English?
wouldn't say
How about a
pit bull.
Staffy?
a Staffy.
English Staffordshire Terrier.
Greyhound.
No, he's not a. See, if you make him that small, then he's not that small.
Staffies aren't that small.
But he's got to have a dog that's got a little bit of meanness to him. A little
Oh, like a
snarl.
Jack Russell.
Chihuahua.
Oh, now they're really small. They're too small.
How about a mini pincher?
Sure.
Wow.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
How about
one that can bite your ankles off if it has to.
How about a golden retriever corgi mix?
Because he's got short legs.
Yeah, he's a little boxy,
What
but
are
it's
those?
still
What are those
golden
like
retriever.
pit
Want to play around?
Pit bull bulldogs where they're just like these little
Pit bull
like,
bulldog. Oh,
they're-
God.
they're- No,
they look like they're flexing all the time.
Yeah, they look like the dog from Tom and Jerry. Maybe that. Could
Oh,
be,
yeah.
And best
Spike, by the way, Spike.
Yeah, and best coffee in Chicago. I really love Sip of Hope. They're a small brewer, I believe, in Logan Square. That really good coffee, and they donate a lot of their proceeds to various mental health causes throughout
that's
Chicago. Their logo, their slogan, "Sip of Hope Coffee." It's okay to not be okay.
Nice.
So
That's awesome.
and it's
I will get
really
some of that.
it's really good coffee too.
Nice. I do like Dark Matter.
Dark Matter's
I think
very good too.
I think that's locally.
Yep. Chicago
Locally
brand.
station. Dark Matter. Favorite coffee place was back in Ravenswood. It was called Perfect Cup. I don't know if they do anything charitable, but I liked it. It was a nice,
Yeah,
nice place.
and why am I blanking on the name of the place on Clark and Grace? Uncommon Ground.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, it's funny you say that. I dislike Uncommon Ground because they took a deli out of that space.
Oh, really?
Way back when. It was called Deli 38, and it had the best potato salad ever. Loved that place in the 90s.
Well, they got good coffee.
But they do have good
And
coffee.
with you got the kiddos,
And they have another location.
excellent hot chocolate.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's always clutch.
All right.
Give me La Colombe. By the way,
But it's not a Chicago company.
no, it
is
is not. They do have,
Their
they have a
winter.
roaster here.
I think
though.
it's called Winterland or something like that. I just happened to get a cup of that, and I immediately bought a whole bunch of it to take home and
It's
grind.
very
It's
good.
great.
Bijan had the winning dog breed, Saint Bedard.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Beautiful.
That's
All right.
that's very good.
And also, Barbara is enjoying this chat, and she said, "Is that Alligator Rob on the right?" Now that is a great shout out to from the guy. Remember the alligator in Humboldt
Yes.
Park?
Yeah, Chance the Snapper.
Exactly. Chances never.
Good times.
No,
And hey, if you need to
Barb,
be
that's
awake
Mario.
for 18 hours, Viet 5 right here down the street.
Hey,
That was the day where I thought Lawrence was going to turn into Kool-Aid Man and just run through a wall.
The one guy that doesn't need that VF5 drinks it.
Love Viet 5. Great stuff. Okay, back to the mail sack. RJK from the Discord. If members of the current roster were Taylor Swift songs,
Oh, God.
who would be which song?
Take it away, Greg.
I have to disqualify myself because I only know one Taylor Swift
All right,
song.
hang on.
Oh
Taylor.
God.
And
I
this is
enjoy.
Mario.
I got one.
I
Evermore
enjoy
is Seth
Taylor
Jones.
Swift songs. Which one? Evermore.
Evermore.
Okay.
I'll say "Shake It Off" is Peter Mrazek.
There you go. That's a good
That's,
one.
that's the only one I know.
Got to play that one for Taylor Radish.
It's the only one I
I'm
know.
gonna say Connor Bedard is "Wildest Dreams."
I think anti-hero is Seth Jones. I'm the problem. It's me.
That's
So
true.
I think a lot of
Yep,
people
that's
are
a good
going
one. Yep.
to assign that one to him.
There's Taylor, reminding everyone to give us a like. Thank you, Taylor.
Delicate could be for pick a doc, any doc.
All the docs. Oh man, what's another
Any
good one? At 22 for Nikita Zaitsev.
Sure.
There you go.
There you go. First,
Bad Blood.
First number.
Tenorti, Donato, sons of other NHL players.
Maybe.
I see what you did there.
That's rude. I love it.
Boy. Some other good ones.
I got nothing.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I'm appreciative of Taylor Swift, but honestly, I don't know any song titles.
She's not for me, and I've accepted that. I respect her, and I appreciate what she does, but her music is not geared towards me.
No, I don't think she's intending it to be either.
And I appreciate her for that too. Like
Taylor,
I'm
what's your
good.
target audience? Like middle
Not
40s,
Greg.
dude?
Greg Boysen.
No,
yeah.
she wants like if I had like preteen teenage daughters like a lot of guys my age do, then yes, she's targeting my checking account.
Yes.
But I don't,
Yeah.
so she's not.
Actually, I saw a video from, I don't know when it was, but this girl was like a Make-A-Wish patient, and she was in, so I guess Taylor Swift has like a main stage, and then there's like a walkway into the crowd, and this girl was like right at the end of the walkway, front row end of the walkway, and during the show, the mom was filming the girl, and like Taylor Swift and the entire like dance crew went from stage all the way down to the walkway directly to this little girl. Taylor Swift knelt in front of her, hugged her, gave her hat. It was like, it was
awesome.
incredible. Like they literally, and you could see as they're walking down this maybe 15, 20 yard walkway, this little girl is getting more and more nervous as she's approaching.
Yeah.
Like, what's
That's
happening? Is
crazy.
this happening? She's coming right towards me.
That's awesome.
I imagine that's how our diehards felt when we showed up yesterday.
Oh yeah, exactly
Definitely.
that way.
I think I saw Windy City Hockey crying as we
I mean,
as we approached.
I was a little emotional when I first saw you guys when I walked up to the 300 level.
we do
I was
that to
so
people.
emotional that I actually went with Carm down to the 100 level, and that was actually a lot more amazing.
So
we
it's a
snuck
great
in.
place to
Carm was
channel your emotions.
He's amazing. It's amazing.
I saw him walking out.
Yeah.
He is calm.
All right, back to the sack. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, this is from one of our diehards in Discord. AJ says, if the entire current Blackhawks roster were to compete in a Hunger Games style battle royale, who would be the last man standing and why? Who would be taken out first?
Ooh,
Taylor Radish is probably out first because he would miss anything he had to do, and he's just so damn slow. He'd get pegged off right away.
I got a feeling Reese Johnson would do really well.
Reese
think
Johnson
so.
would do. Colin Blackwell, you're not eliminating Colin Blackwell. He's the winner.
That's
He's the
probably
winner.
true.
He's crafty.
He's
That's
the winner.
crappy.
He'll like He'll hide under dead bodies and then jump out and get you. Like he's
Come at you like a spider.
This is a question.
It's Colin Blackwell. He's no
This
doubt.
sounds like content.
It sure
This
does.
sounds like going around the room and saying,
It
all right,
sure does.
Hunger
What are we
Games
doing at
style
practice
content.
tomorrow?
No,
This.
this also sounds like a July show, but I don't know. That's just me.
Oh,
But
man.
half of those guys won't be here anymore.
I think Bedard would do pretty well because he's young, he's spry, he could get around the battlefield.
No, what's going to happen is he's going to stop to save Nick Foligno, and he'll get screwed. And Foligno
will take it.
Foligno will just drive it right through the heart.
Are you telling me
That's
I'm
for
slow?
calling me slow, you little jerk.
Yeah, I think Nick would hold his own too.
He's
Yeah.
he's sly. He's crafty.
Yeah.
He knows how to get things done.
Fun question.
That's a
we,
good
We
one.
should run it by the Hawks for sure.
Oh yeah, this is now this is what I'm doing tomorrow at practice. Yep.
Yeah, sure, Lawrence. We could take a break.
Look
I'm
at
happy
me.
to do that.
What's happening?
And you know what, Lawrence? While we're on the topic of breaks, you know what I like to do when I need a break?
Oh, I know what you want to do.
Crack open an icy cold Coors Light.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a Coors Light. This is water in a Coors Light cup because I'm
beautiful.
working, trying to be professional. It's not a night game.
Yeah.
It's not post game. I can't just let loose right now, but rest assured when I get home from a very busy day, busy couple days, I got a couple silver bullets chilling in the fridge right now, and I'm going to crack them open because Coors Light for me is a guy who just needs to take that edge off every night and just chill and relax, watch some TV, watch some hockey before I settle into bed. A Coors Light or two is just what the doctor ordered, and it is great to watch, when you're watching the game, hanging out with your friends, but just the overall vibe of Coors Light. It's cold, chill out, relax, have a good time, kick it with your bros, kick it with your fam,
Bro,
all the things the kids say. He turned his head around again. A personal attack on you,
Sitting
Greg.
right here.
couple silver bullies.
Sitting right here.
But if you're not sure, you're like,
Coors
"Man,
ladies.
is this Coors Light cold?" All you gotta do is look at those mountains. If the mountains are blue, it is
Check
as
those
cold
mounties.
as the Rockies. Coors Light's cold lagered,
Look
cold
for the
filtered,
blueies.
and cold
Blueies. Aw.
packaged
They got to be blue, bro.
for a smoother finish. When it's time to chill,
Blue
open a
Mounties.
Coors Light. It's mountain cold refreshment, crisp and refreshing as the Colorado Rockies mountains. When it's time to chill, Coors Light is the beer to go to. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/CHGO Hockey. That's CoorsLight.com/CHGO Hockey. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Light Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
This is a perfect day to go home.
Oh, yeah.
sit on the patio or the
Yeah.
front porch or
The veranda.
yeah. And
You know
just
what? F it.
Crack
Jim.
open a nice beer.
Yeah.
You bring me a Coors Light? You're the man.
Hell yeah. Sales guy Jim. Let's go.
Jay's just gonna walk off and go to the patio right now.
Me and Dart Guy are going to exchange
Mental
darts.
note: give Jay 5-minute head start on drive home.
Hey, you know what else today is?
What is I'm sorry.
What's
The
happening?
chat is just
What I missed?
we have nothing. Just read the third one up.
It's
It's like stream of consciousness.
Oh,
It's,
Barbara.
Oh, I just don't call
Hell
it.
yeah! Give me another beer.
That was
I'm
amazing.
having two. Thank you.
Aw. Here, throw one. I just want to catch one. Let's catch it.
all right.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh yeah, that's high school football for you. All right, I actually can't have that because
Anyway, I think we were doing a read.
Yeah.
were we?
For the
Oh, yeah.
friends at the game time.
Hey, Game Time. They're cool. They're fun. You can enjoy Coors Lights at any event. Well, most events. At events that you buy tickets for through Game Time. I got through that sentence correctly, right?
I think you nailed it.
That's pretty good. You shouldn't have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events happening nearest to you. And if you want to take a road trip to an event, you can do that too. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seats, and their best price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. And that that best price guarantee, here's something that I learned after talking with the good people at Game Time. Game Time guarantees that you are going to get the best price on your ticket, on your seat to the event you want to go to through them. If you scour the internet on those inferior ticketing sites and somehow find a ticket, the same ticket, at a better price than GameTime, you can bring it to GameTime, and they will credit you 110% of the difference. That's Minnesota Wild math. 110% of the difference between the tickets. That is how much they care that you are getting the best price through GameTime. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use the code CHGO for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code CHGO. That's C as in Chicago, H as in Chicago, G as in go, and O as in O for $20 off. Download GameTime today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
Yes.
We're having a fun Monday. This is a fun Monday.
I agree.
And by the way, Cubs are on at 6:30.
Yeah, Barbara was asking, so how they
Cubs are on at
signed
6:30.
They signed Bellinger. This is huge.
Sarah,
Yeah,
You got a
Barb.
post
come in
game or
here.
something?
Were you
Say hi to
not?
Barb misses you, so you gotta come in and
gotta say hi to
acknowledge.
Barb.
Just come in and wave the Barb.
Acknowledge me.
No, you got to get in the
Yeah, get
camera
in the
shot.
screen
There you go. There's Sarah.
Yeah.
She's still
There's
here.
Sarah.
I'll be ready at 6:30.
6:30. They're
Barb, were you not awake at 2 in the
Are they
morning on
playing a
Saturday
baseball
night
game?
when
They're,
we did that live podcast?
they will be on at 6:30 after the from Arizona after their game is over today. So yes, that's the all right.
All right, let's keep it moving.
Oh, we're going back into the mailbag. Now we have one last question from the Discord channel, and there's actually it's a theme, so I'm going to just rip off a bunch of other people
Another
that
Hunger
also
Games question?
Yeah, well, this is not about Kane. Josh said, real question, what are the dates we should be looking for when people like Nazar sign
our
and come
calendar.
to play NHL games? And then we had like a bunch of other people asking about Nazar and the potential prospects. So let's just kind of make this one big convo. So
All right.
we
I got
had
my, I got my
Scott.
calendar open.
Scott said, out of Ludwinski, Hayes, Slaggert, Nazar, what are the odds they can have two of these prospects along with Colton Dock in 24-25? We had
They can have it.
unbiased Bears fan with Davidson making this season Korchinski's rookie year, advancing his timeline. Do you guys see anyone's timeline being advanced next season as well? Currently, prospects
Okay.
we have.
I see where we're going.
Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
People are excited for the
Mongo it's
prospects.
becoming obvious. The Hawks need offense. Which prospects will be next man up for this purpose? How about trades? Thanks, CHGO. And Landon McClelland. Hey, CHGO family, who do you think will join the Blackhawks this season from their prospect pool? Also, I'm not saying the NHL is scripted, but you could not write a better story of how Kane ended last night. Keep up the
The
fantastic
NHL
work.
scripted.
No, we could have run a better story. It
Yeah,
could
yeah,
have been,
actually,
the
F
Blackhawks
that.
win, and that
F-
play never happens.
F-
And then a rock bottom on Patrick Kane
Yeah.
at center ice.
Exactly. And then
Yeah.
Seth Jones hits him in the hip, and that's the end of that.
Oh boy, oh boy.
We're not salty.
All
All right, lots there. So yeah,
prospect timelines.
let's start with the Nazar one. This all depends on how Michigan does. If Michigan goes far into the postseason, I guess you'd say, then he will not join the Hawks this year. But if they're eliminated on time, he could jump up and play for the Hawks at the end of the year.
So they're in a unique position because they are a very talented team, but they're currently ranked. Last I saw, 16th in the pairwise. So if you're not familiar with that, that's kind of like the old BCS kind of stuff for college hockey. So they have without winning the Big Ten tournament, they have a small percentage chance of getting an at-large bid into the NCAA tournament. They're currently, I believe it's 5th in the Big Ten. So in the Big Ten tournament, they wouldn't even host their own series. So they're in a peculiar situation, but don't count Michigan out. They have a ton of talent on that team. So Big Ten tournament, I believe, is the second week of March. So let's say they don't win that tournament, don't get a bid to the NCAA tournament. I would say probably after St. Patrick's Day, we could find out whether or not Frank Nazar is making the jump to the professional game. I think the Blackhawks, from everything that I've seen from their perspective, they're ready for him when he's ready for them. Mm-hmm. And I would say from watching him play this year, he's ready to go to the next level. So I think I think a lot of educated guessing would say by the 3rd to 4th week of March, we're probably seeing Frank Nazar play professional hockey either in Chicago and or in Rockford.
Then the next one was, aside from him, who are some of the offensive, aside from him and Doc,
Yeah.
who are the guys that can make the jump. I think forward-wise, I think you guys would agree is Landon Slaggert probably. Now, he's not going to be a top 6 type. I mean, he's a bottom 6 guy.
He's a guy that I would think that they would like to play in Rockford for a bit, get him acclimated to the professional game.
Maybe he gets 4 or 5 games at the end of this year.
Yeah.
And then Rockford next year. Like, there's not many guys that you can just be like, okay, you're a full-time NHLer next year. We've got to be patient. I know we're excited. I know we see these names. You're a diehard. You read our rebuild report every week. You see the highlights. Like, God, I can't wait. Well, you're going to have to wait a little bit.
Yeah.
Nazar, if he's not an NHL player next season, I'd be very surprised.
I would be too, yeah.
I would imagine like Oliver Moore will be heading back to Minnesota for a second year.
That makes sense.
We'll probably get, if they get number 1 overall, you'll have Celebrini here most likely right from day one. After that, probably not. Depending on whoever they pick at 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever. Probably not an NHLer from day one. Doesn't need to be.
Doesn't need to be. Yeah.
Colton Dock, I think you'd like to see him be here, but again, until he can prove that he could actually play like more than 6 games in a row without getting hurt, I don't have a lot of faith in a long time sustainable career. I need to see him put together a season where it's just not an ouchie every time you turn around. And I'm not knocking the kid. I like him a lot. I want him to be something here. I think he can.
Yeah.
He's just got to stay on the ice. That's his biggest problem.
Yep.
And like Ludwinski was mentioned, he's at least another season away before we're even talking about like Rockford next year.
He'll be in Rockford
Hayes
next year.
Hayes is probably in Rockford next year.
Same for Hayes. Yep.
Maybe Ryan Green in Rockford next year. Maybe
Ryan Green. Maybe, but I wouldn't. I also wouldn't rule out playing a third year in college. Like,
again, wouldn't kill him.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the worst thing. He's done well this year at Boston, but I mean he's kind of been buried behind Celebrini. So maybe a third year where he gets an opportunity to be a top line guy. I think that would be beneficial.
Nick
for him.
Lardis has mentioned he's at least
Nick
2 years
Lardis
away.
is going back to junior for sure.
He needs.
He's also been hurt.
Yeah, he needs. He's great talent, but he needs to grow up a little bit before he starts thinking.
No, he's
still a. You can't convince me he's not.
He's going to go back.
When he came out at the draft, I was like,
somebody's child.
is this the kid who runs up to the draft table,
Yeah,
or is this the actual?
Somebody's child is. We have a lost child at podium number 5.
Guys going. I'll never. It was one of my favorite memories
Yeah.
of the draft this year. Was I was down at the media center when the picture being made, and it was like one after the other, and the guys are coming out, and we're interviewing guys. I'm like, I don't know who this is.
Yeah.
So, like, tell us about your game, young man.
What's your name?
Who are you?
Yeah. So I mean, there's going to be guys coming through the rest of this season at the back end of this season into next year to be excited about, but there is going to still need to be some patience with them. I think I think the one that is like, I don't want to say a lock, but he's going to have every opportunity to make the NHL roster next season. If he does go pro, is Nazar. That's the one I'm putting the most eggs in the basket for next season that he'll be in Chicago.
Kyle Davidson is making his plan crystal clear. When you see Jason Dickinson and Nick Foligno and Peter Mrazek all signed through 25-26, there's your timeline.
Yep.
There's your timeline.
That's your bridge.
All right. Why don't we do? We got time for probably 1 or 2 more.
Okay.
Let's do 2 real quick.
Well, let's get to the Kane stuff.
All right.
we
Yeah,
gotta talk
that's a good way to end it. Let's do that.
Jennifer Kaufman.
Jennifer.
Did any of you or did you not cry during the Kane
No crying in
tribute?
hockey.
Did not cry, but you feel the emotion. You remember the good times and all that stuff. The tribute was great. 3 curtain calls for Kane was well deserved.
I think for me, I got a little choked up when Chelios turned to Kane and was saying like,
Yeah,
"Don't worry, it's gonna work out. You're gonna be up here soon." That got me because it was like,
that was
I don't
cool.
know, whenever there's like emotion exchange, that's where I get a little.
I mean, yeah, for me, there was definitely, it was a little dusty in the 300 level during the whole ceremony, like different
the
times.
Chelios,
Yeah, it was
the
cool.
Chelios stuff was far more emotional for me than the Kane stuff because the Kane stuff is still like still not that far removed from
It's
it.
fresh,
Like,
yeah. It was just this time last year that he was
right.
I'll tell you though,
it wasn't
when
emotional. Like when it's Kane's like turn to get his number retired, that's
Yeah.
when more of those, because we'll be so much further
Yeah.
removed from it. Chelios was more emotional for me because just seeing those highlights brought back so many memories. It took me back to being 14, 15 years old. It took me back to watching Blackhawk games with my dad that I can't do anymore. So
Right.
that was far more emotional for me. Because that was 30 years ago, or more, and that took me back to my childhood where Kane took me back to my early 40s, late 30s. So not as far as a ride, and not nearly as emotional. Though there are some amazing memories attached to that time as well. But you still have pieces of those memories around
Yeah.
you. Whereas like the 90s, a lot of the 90s is gone forever for me.
right, yep.
All right, we got to do this one. Joe, shy sports fan Joe. That's a Twitter handle we like. If he doesn't end up re-signing with Detroit after this season, is there even the slightest chance Davison looks to bring back Kane in the offseason, or is that a fish?
Joe.
a ship
No,
we
next
got?
question.
You
No,
gotta donate
next
to the
question.
jar. It's over my shoulder here.
I like Joe. Joe's a good guy. He's a big fan. I get it, but no, it's not happening. It's done. The Blackhawks have moved on. I suggest you do the same. He'll be back in the United Center to have his jersey retired, to unveil a statue. He'll be around this team. He has said it himself. He is a Blackhawk for life, but he's just not going to play for them again. It
And
is
that's
what it is.
okay.
It is okay because we have Connor freaking Bedard
Yes.
right now. If we didn't have Connor Bedard and no Patrick Kane, then okay. Like we can, but it's okay. The next guy that is going to bring the city what Patrick Kane brought is already here. Let's start appreciating him now because eventually, we thought Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews were going to play here forever. And they were here for a very long time. But it didn't feel like a long time. It feels like those cups were yesterday. So let's appreciate the guy we have now, starting now, because eventually we're going to be at Connor Bedard's jersey retirement ceremony going, man, that went by so fast. So
it's crazy.
I get, but like it's the ship has sailed. I know Kane is saying all these things. He's saying the right things to Scott Power at the Athletics. To you were there Sunday morning when he talked. Oh, if they offer me a contract, it'll be hard to say no. Of course he's going to say that because he knows they're not offering him a contract.
Yeah.
So he's endearing himself to the fan base as he should. He got everything he deserved yesterday from this fan base. And he repaid them by breaking their hearts. Kidding, sort of. Not really.
Well,
but yeah, it's,
But I mean, look, like Wayne Gretzky got traded multiple times.
Yeah.
Mark Messier played for other teams. Like, greats move along, and like,
Chris Chelios played for other
and
teams.
the problem is when you hang on to these guys for too long, then you get yourself into a problem. And let's be honest, like, nostalgia is what has the Hawks in a predicament they're in right now. Like, they hung on to Brent Seabrook too long. And honestly, like, they hung on to Duncan Keith before he had any trade value. Like, it's just...
As a Cubs fan, and Jay, you could probably agree with me, I hated when the Cubs traded away all their World Series heroes in the span of 8 minutes a couple of years ago.
That sucked.
It sucked, but looking it back on now, probably the right move.
Right.
Probably the right move because I think this team is closer to competing now than if they had underachieving Javi Baez making way too much money, Chris Bryant's bad back, Anthony Rizzo's bad back, Wilson Contreras' whatever. Like I think his back is okay, but his bat was not very good last year. Like I love those guys. Those guys are like my favorite group of baseball players ever, and I hated to see them go, but now as we're further away removed from it, you're like, yeah, it was probably the right move. And I think 2-3 years from now, when this Blackhawks team is good again and back in the playoffs and hopefully a Stanley Cup contender, fans will look back and go, yeah, it sucked at the time, but it was probably the right move.
Yeah. And I think too, like, a story that we didn't get to hear because we didn't hear the broadcast, but it was brought up on 32 Thoughts today with Jeff Merrick and Elliot Freeman. They were talking about on the broadcast. There was a story mentioned about Chris Chelios at the end of his career. There was an opportunity for him to go back to the Blackhawks during that 2009-2010 season, and be a part of that what eventual Stanley Cup run. And he said, you know what, I'm not going to do that. Those guys have that is their team. This is their run, their moment. I don't want to get in the way of that. And I'm not saying Patrick Kane would get in the way of anything, but it's like if Chris Chelios and the career he had and the opportunity he had to go to the to that established Blackhawks team and be a part of that, and he was just like, you know what, I think I should, probably let them have their space. I mean, I think Patrick Kane would kind of do the same, and he kind of talked about it on Sunday too. Yeah. He talked about how, guys like Bedard and Vlasic and Korchinski and all these guys that we just talked about in the question about the prospects, they have the opportunity to come into the organization and make it theirs. And that is the objective of Kyle Davidson and what he's doing in this rebuild. And I think if you were to have, Patrick Kane back, as we said before, it becomes Patrick Kane's team again because of the weight he carries in this town and what he would carry in the locker room. So you have the opportunity to allow the Bedards and the Vlasics and the Korchinskis and the Nazars and so on and so forth come in and become their own Chicago, stars.
Right.
Without having to try and reach and grab back to an old one and say, oh, well, this will be the fix. This will rekindle everything. Let the new kindling happen.
Boy, Patrick Kane or Chris Chelios coming back in 2010.
I'm kind of glad it didn't happen.
That reeks of John McDonough.
Yeah. As much as it would have been awesome to have Jonathan Taves hand Chelios the cup.
Yes, that'd be cool.
That would have been.
It would have been really sad watching 2010 Chris Chelios out there because that was Chicago Wolves Atlanta
Nick
Thrashers.
Boynton and Brent Sobel were on the ice.
Right, but they were also probably better.
Also
than
were
Chris
Yeah, at that point they were probably better. Yeah.
And I think
+7 was taken. They can't.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
And I think
Could've worked
just
44.
the ill will towards him at that point, he would have been bad.
Yeah, would he have been welcomed back
He
with
would have
open
been broken
arms?
down and not
Yeah,
good.
it would-
Wouldn't have gone over great.
And he knows that too.
It's probably part of the reason he said, I don't want to. He probably thinking, knowing Chris Chelios and getting to know him through these last few weeks and being part of some of his media sessions and, of course, his speech yesterday, he really lets you know exactly the type of person he is. I'm pretty sure he was thinking, like, I don't want to take away a spot from a guy that's earned a shot at a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
I've got mine. I've earned mine. I'm good.
Yeah. By the way,
I don't need this.
I was doing a little bit of research while we were having this conversation. Jonathan Taves and Patrick Kane played 16 years with the Hawks.
It's a lot of years.
I'm going through the other retired players in Blackhawks history. Keith Magnuson played for 11, Glenn Hall 10, Bobby Hull 15, Denny Savard 12, 2 different stints, Marian Hossa 8, Chris Chelios 9. The only player, Tony Esposito with 15. The only player with more seasons than Taves and Kane was Stan Mikita, who played 22 years as a Blackhawk. So
started in the 50s and retired in the 80s.
Yeah, you had a good, long, appropriate run for 2 franchise icons. And look, like all these names I listed, aside from Magnuson, went on to play for other franchises. And guess what? They're all remembered as Blackhawks.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
and you're gonna have that with all those guys. Taves, Kane, Seabrook, Keith, all of those guys.
No one remembers Bobby Hull, the Hartford Whaler.
No, not even people in Hartford.
No, most of them don't.
Or
even
Carolina.
remember. Yeah, nobody remembers Winnipeg Jet, Bobby Hull.
all right, are we ready to make our big announcement?
Because they're not even.
Oh yeah, we should do that.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
All right,
Man,
big
I guess
announcement
I
time. Listen up. Another takeover.
Yes.
It is on sale now for diehards only.
Die Hard only.
You get first crack at this until Thursday when we open it up for everybody else. Diehards have exclusive access to this. The game is March 26th against the Calgary Flames.
Yes.
Why is this one different? We're in the 100 level for this game.
Good
Rubbing
seats.
elbows with.
I may say
better.
screw it. I'm not covering this game. One of you guys might have to go up to the press box this time.
So make sure
Only for the soup.
you sign in as a diehard. Then you're going to go to allchgo.com, navigate to our events tab, and go to the event calendar. It'll be the first thing right there, and you can reserve your takeover tickets. The price, for diehards, $115 for a
Not,
100
not
level
bad
seat.
for 100 level.
It includes pregame drinks at a meetup at a bar TBD. Love bar TBD.
Oh, bar
Awesome
TBD is
spot.
my favorite.
Best
They have
wings
Coors
ever.
Light.
Best wings.
Best gluten-free menu on the planet.
Oh yeah,
100 level seats
all day at bar TBD.
and you get to hang out with us all day. I know yesterday was a little different because of all the festivities going on, but there's going to be pregame meetups, food, drink, everything. So consider that all an add-on because this is you're probably getting a door for less than face value of the ticket.
And what better way to spend
point.
a Tuesday night, right?
Yeah, I mean it's going to be awesome.
If you're not playing trivia, you should go to the Hawks game with us.
Absolutely.
Come see Connor Bedard up close. Again, diehards only until Thursday. So if you want to jump in, do it now. That game Tuesday, March 26th. Our event will begin at 5:30. Hawks and Flames, 100 level
Is that
seats.
price the diehard price?
That's
That is
the
the
diehard
diehard
price.
price,
Yes. Yep.
Awesome. Which means if it ever gets to our non-diehards, you're paying more.
A little bit more. Yeah.
20% more.
20% more.
And as someone who snuck down to the 100 level last night to see Connor Bedard up close for the first time, I would say it is very much worth it.
Oh yeah.
He's awesome to look
Oh
at
yeah.
up close.
There's not a bad seat in the United Center.
No, not really.
But there
There's
are
But
better
being in the
ones.
100 level is fun.
It's cool. Like I do prefer being higher. Ideal is like 200 level. Like our perches for the game are it's ideal.
It's great. Yeah.
Like we're almost like blue line.
If I could pick a row, it would be in the corner. I don't know exactly the section, but it would be the front row of a corner in the 300 level. That would be like if I had an infinite amount of money, I'd be a season ticket holder right there.
Yeah, they're great. But the 100 level, the experience there, you really get to see the speed of the game, the complexity of the
appreciate it more.
game.
Yeah.
It's an awesome thing to experience. So go to allchgo.com. Make sure if you're a diehard, you're logged in,
Yes.
and you'll have access to that events page. So again, allchgo.com. You're going to see the events tab at the top. Then it will open event calendar. Click on that, and it'll be the top event right there. And come join us Tuesday, March 26th. Hawks and Flames. It's going to be awesome. 100 level seats. Let's go.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's a post trade deadline game, so be interesting to
night,
see. Hey,
It's
there
a
you
Pride
go.
night. Nice.
That's what
Awesome.
Lex and Charlie the Bacon Guy both said. Pride
The
night.
pregame festivities on any theme night are great. Pride night is especially
Yeah,
very
that's
cool.
gonna
the
be awesome.
Glamboni.
Yes, the Glamboni will be front
be a
and
good
center
time.
for sure. Yeah, and it'll be post trade deadline Blackhawks and
and
Flames
and two national anthems.
2 anthems. Man, it's great.
You
It's
get
a great
the Jim
deal.
Cornelison O Canada as a bonus. I mean, that's worth the price of admission right there.
If it's Calgary though, he probably won't do the French
He won't.
verse.
Maybe we
That's
could-
just Montreal and Ottawa, right?
He'll just yeehaw a
yeah,
couple
Montreal,
times.
Ottawa, really, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. First takeover in the 100 level. That'll be good. We are still undefeated in regulation in takeovers. We are 2-0-1.
We have a point streak, I believe.
That is true. That is a point streak. Yep.
Yes.
So,
We've gotten at least 1 point in every one of our takeovers.
5 out of 6 points in takeovers.
Yeah.
Not bad.
It's pretty good. If they gave us tickets to all 41 home games, Stanley Cup, baby.
Hey, that's the CHGO bump, right?
It is.
Nick,
It's a
Nick
real- it's a real
Foligno
thing.
continues his scoring ways.
It's a real thing.
It's the Ice Hogs won a game. It's good stuff.
Yep.
Keep sending us more places.
Yes.
And if we want to pay some money on that game, what's one of the places we can go to do that?
What is
Circa?
one of the places we can go to do
Circa's
that?
a place we could do that.
Circa? Yeah, Circa could definitely wager some good shillings on those games, and you want to do it through Circa because they are one of the best, if not the best, sportsbook out there on the market with their tight money line splits, low hold models. They will strive to have games at a -110 split on their Circa Sports menu, unlike other sports books which may have similar games, similar lines at -115 or 120. Circa Sports keeps as little money as possible on large market bets, especially compared to those other books. And when you're betting with Circa Sports, they don't limit winners. They want you to take as much money from them as possible. Every player has the same limits, unlike other sports books who do limit the winning players. So download the Circa Sports app. You can download all the betting apps to search for the best props, best lines. You're going to always find them at Circa. And the best thing about Circa is that there are real people behind Circa Sports brand who resolve issues in a timely fashion, unlike those other books who use chatbots. Boo the chatbots. All aspects of the app are run by the same people that run the main Circa Sportsbook at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. So download the Circa Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app. Sign up today. Also, be on the lookout for Circa events, watch parties, and tailgates. If you or someone you may know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537, or text GAMB, G-A-M-B, to 833-234, or visit areyourreallywinning.com.
All right, we're going to wrap things up for now. We got a bunch of mailbag questions, so why don't we, if time allows and if news doesn't break big time tomorrow, which we don't expect it to, we'll get to what we can on tomorrow's show.
You just screwed us.
I jinxed
There
it.
is
You just
100% going to be news tomorrow.
Someone's dying in practice.
Someone
tomorrow.
Oh, jeez.
Not the ant whistle playing again.
Boy.
I mean, we've.
Oh, no.
Yikes.
All
right. Thanks for being with us. That was a long show. Wow. Thanks, Law, for running the show.
Hey,
Really
I'm
appreciate it.
happy to sit here another 20 minutes if you want to keep going in the mailbag. We
No,
still
I'm
have
good.
ones.
Working
good.
overtime.
Someone
We get
had a-
overtime? No?
We're
I don't know.
confusing Barb. We need to wrap it up.
All right.
Yeah, poor Barb.
Barb, 6:30, Cubs show. Yes, Sarah's producing, and they will talk about Cody Bellinger.
Yes.
But
there
until
will be
tomorrow
much
at
more
2:30.
Bellinger talk on that
Yeah,
show
they
than
We'll
on
even
this
talk
show.
about Patrick Kane, too.
We'll talk to you tomorrow after Hawks practice on the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast, 2:30.
We all silly like the mayor.